Most of us have some concept of jails or prisons. They are facilities meant to punish people who have committed crimes against the state or the country. Some of us may know people who have been incarcerated or even have had personal experience ourselves, but there is a very serious problem with these facilities. They are failing on very many levels and need a serious change very quickly. By looking at the health, economic, and morality of these prisons, you will be able to see that they need a very quick change and it needs to be very drastic. So, prisons aren't necessarily known for their health care. They, um, some may have good and accessible care for all, and it may be very good, but there are others who will not be giving you this care, and it is very dangerous. Because there is no specific guidelines for what a prison needs to provide to its inmates, there is a wide range of what you are given depending on the place. The CDC quotes that just by being incarcerated, you are already at a higher risk for hepatitis, tuberculosis, and many, many other diseases and infections. But research done by Penn State says that even if you are sick, you don't have direct access to that hospital. Inmates must go through guards to be able to get adequate help. And if that guard says that you look fine enough, you will not see a doctor. And that is if the doctor believes you and gives you the help that you need. A big issue, again, with healthcare is women's healthcare. If you are pregnant and incarcerated, there is a very low chance that you are going to be getting the needed attention for your pregnancy. Women have reported being psychologically, physically, and verbally abused by staff members at hospitals, and even having to be bound during checkups and during delivery in public places. Now, it's very clear that that needs a serious change just by giving some of the few facts. There are many, many more horror stories of people who have had to experience this lowest of the low care. Nextly, economic value of prisons is very low, and there isn't a whole lot of advantages to them as of now. The US is the number one in the world for the amount of incarcerated individuals. So who is this system really benefiting? Annually, the US spends about 182 billion per year on their judicial system, and 80 billion of that goes to just prisons, jails, and parole. This money is being dumped into this system that isn't working. And a good example of this is that of the unemployed, 27% are formerly incarcerated individuals. So this money is being put into a system that is not benefiting any of the people in it or setting them up for success. Another statistic states that 70% of incarcerated individuals will reoffend and go back. Obviously, the money putting into the system isn't benefiting the people and keeping them out, but if anything, making them have to come back. Just by seeing these few facts, you can tell that economically there are so many negatives to it that there needs to be some kind of change to work on these. Morality has been a big issue in the US and has arisen as to what our system is really doing. In the United States, we focus more on punishment rather than proper rehabilitation. So, many people think that this is what we need, that punishment will keep people out of jails, and that it is beneficial towards the US to keep people into these places. But it has been proven that a lot of the people in prisons are actually suffer from mental illness or drug abuse, along with poverty issues. So being properly rehabilitated would much rather benefit them than these places of solidarity. In these prisons, though there are physical and sexual abuse very present from guards and other inmates, when released, prisoners are given zero supports than they were before and are kind of forced to come back into this cycle as they have nowhere else to go. Next, one of the biggest things for morality in prisons is the pay that they receive. On average, prisoners will receive 87 cents an hour, which is around 10% of the minimum wage. This is for the exact same work that would be produced otherwise. With this small pay, there is also things that are being sold that are very basic in hygiene and things that anybody would need, but are only being sold and not provided, and they have to earn these things either through their pay or through outside support, which not everybody has. Now that we have seen some of the health, economic, and moral ways that prisons are failing, we are able to take this information and share it, but also make sure that other people are aware that our prisons are not providing good enough support for the prisoners or good enough support in the United States to continue being the way that they are. Thank you.